There, welcome everyone. Welcome to optimizing your LinkedIn profile for technical recruiters. My name is Richie Nunez, and I am the events and media coordinator here at Outco. Before we get started, we're actually going to launch a poll. If you're a job-seeking software engineer and you'd also like to join a community of job-seeking software engineers via Slack, please select yes on this poll. Moving right into the event overview. First and foremost, welcome. You could be watching Netflix or hanging out with your family. Instead, you're here for the betterment of yourself. So thank you for joining us. We're going to be starting off with an intro to Outco, an intro to myself and to Cristina for about 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to be jumping right into the content for optimizing your LinkedIn profile for technical recruiters with Cristina, which would take about 45 minutes or so. And then we're jumping right into the Q&A at the end for about 10 minutes. For those who don't know, Outco is a 4-week career accelerator that's built for job-seeking software engineers. We were founded in 2015 in San Francisco. We're essentially a coaching and skill sharpening service, and we've helped over 2,000 job-seeking software engineers find their dream roles. And if you're interested, we have classes in Eastern Standard Time and Pacific Standard Time as well. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this poll here and then launch our second poll. If at any point during this demo, during this event, you find value and you'd like to learn more about Outco's 10% off New Year's sale, please select yes, and we'll be sure to follow up with you. Again, I'm Richie Nunez. I'm the Outco Events and Media Coordinator. I am also the Outco Alumni Community Manager. I've managed over 50 events for Outco having to do with software engineering negotiation, resume optimization, whiteboarding, etc. And Cristina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Richie. Hi, everybody. My name is Cristina. I am one of the coaches here at Outco. And a little bit about me. So I have been working at Outco now for about 1.5 years. So I have actually coached and trained hundreds of job-seeking software engineers like yourself. And before that, prior to joining Outco, I actually worked at several of these companies that you may notice here. I actually started my career in tech at PayPal when I worked in advertising. And then from there, I made my way to HubSpot, where I worked as a channel consultant, which is essentially a customer success consultant. And then from there, I also worked at Drift. So that's a hyper-growth startup you may have heard of. And I was a customer success consultant there as well. And for the past 1.5 years, I have been having this great journey with Outco and meeting so many of you guys out there. So it's been really, really great. It's been an honor working there and meeting so many engineers.
Thank you so much, Cristina. Before we get started with the optimizing your LinkedIn profile for technical recruiters, I'm actually going to be dropping this last poll here. Again, if you find value in this event, you'd like to learn more about Outco, please join us for an Outco info session through one of these selections here. And Cristina, I'll let you take it away from here. I'm going to stop screen sharing.
All right, thank you, Richie. So as you guys finish up that poll, let me pull up my slides. All righty. Okay, and I also am going to pull up the chat. So just so you all know, I really enjoy engagement during these sessions. So if you could please, if you have questions, feel free to write them in the chat, and I'm happy to answer some of your questions. Give me 1 second. Oh, you can't see my slides. Richie just told me. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Let me try that one more time. Apologize. Technical difficulties. Hold on. What about now? Are we good? Can you see my slides, Richie? All good. All right, cool. Thank you. So welcome to today's session, which is optimizing your LinkedIn profile for technical recruiters. So I'm assuming everyone that's here is a software engineer, whether you're new to the game or you've been a software engineer for a long time. I'm sure that your LinkedIn profile could use some love. So I want to know, out of everybody who's here, how many of you have a complete LinkedIn profile? Put a yes in the chat if you have a completed LinkedIn profile. Okay. Okay, so a good amount of yeses here. Somebody said me. All right, so we do have people who've done their LinkedIn profile. I'm proud of you guys. Okay, now in the chat, how many of you have, for example, a really good LinkedIn profile photo? I'll tell you how we define complete. later, I hope. Okay, good. Well, that's a good start. So today we're actually going to be doing not only an informational session about LinkedIn and how technical recruiters actually use LinkedIn on the back end, but I'm actually going to be doing a workshop style session with you guys today. So I hope you are ready and prepared to actually work on your LinkedIn profiles in this session. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, what's the purpose of LinkedIn? You can write it in the chat. Why? Why do we even have LinkedIn? What's the purpose of it? What do you guys think? Network with professionals. Nice. Okay. Network with professionals. So I'm going to give you, yep. You guys are great. Thank you guys for engaging with me. Yes, this is the purpose of LinkedIn, right? Building your professional network. Number one, searching for and finding career opportunities and job openings, right? Enhancing your professional brand and reputation online. Finding new companies and learning more about companies. Learning professional skills, but most importantly, connecting, right? LinkedIn is for connecting with recruiters, hiring managers, or other professionals. Right? It's a great way where you can actually display your resume. You can search for jobs, right? And you can enhance your reputation by having a great LinkedIn presence online. Oh, someone said get interview calls. Yeah, or your portfolio, exactly. It's your digital online portfolio. So who do you guys think are the top 2 LinkedIn users? What job industry, what roles do you think use LinkedIn the most? IT? No, not IT. Software engineer and design, engineering and sales, almost. Oh, you guys got it. Ready? Number 1 is recruiters. The number 1 top user of LinkedIn, right? They're looking for talent like you to fill their jobs. And number 2, sales professionals. They're looking for people like you to sell their products, right? So these are the top 2 LinkedIn users in LinkedIn. Here are some more fun facts for you. Did you know that LinkedIn has over 766 million users in over 200 countries? So literally used all over the world. 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates. That is a lot of recruiters. There are 55 job applications submitted every single second on LinkedIn. It's a lot of job applications a day. Can somebody do the math? I don't even know. That's a lot. And the top soft skills that companies need on LinkedIn is creativity. And the top hard skill is the skill that all of you guys have, which is cloud computing, software engineering. So you guys already stand out from the crowd for having the top hard skill that recruiters are looking for on LinkedIn. All right, so what I'm going to show you a little bit of today is essentially what LinkedIn looks like on the back end. So what ends up happening, LinkedIn Recruiter, just so you guys know, is an all-encompassing hiring platform for talent professionals, which helps recruiters find, connect with, and manage the people that they want on their team. Do you know how much it costs? What do you guys think? How much do you think it costs to have a LinkedIn Recruiter subscription per year? How much do you think somebody pays for that a year? So Jeremy said 100 a month. Okay, 200 for the year. 200. 500. When I tell you, you're going to be very shocked. So it's actually over $10,000 a year that they spend on LinkedIn Recruiter. Yes. Someone said, good Lord. Yes. So if they spend this much money on LinkedIn Recruiter, do you think they're using it? Of course they are, right? Exactly. They're definitely using it. So you need to make sure that your profile is looking sharp because they're looking for you, right? So what I'm going to do really quickly is show you a job description. So this is an example of a job description. Essentially, I want you to look for some keywords in this job description. So if this is a job description, pretty generic. Oh, if it shows up, if it loads, hold on, give it a second. Okay, so this is a job, for example, a senior software engineer backend at Adobe. All right, unless Jeff Bezos is a recruiter. All right, so if we look really quickly, we can kind of see, I hope it's not too small for you to see, but you can see here that, what are some keywords that stand out to you? Can you put them in the chat? What are some keywords that you see here that maybe you'd want to show on your profile?
I was thinking of having a murder mystery game, and like one of our pitches are gonna be a different thing. I'm gonna have to set it up with like all little quick cards on your table, not on your table, on your chairs, and it's like a murder mystery game.
Okay, yeah, I see hard skills, SQL, DevOps, 5+ years, awesome. But especially the tech stacks, right? Java, SQL, technologies, design, right? I see Scala, C++, right? These are some things that are really popping out to me. So just something to keep in mind. But first and foremost, the position is a senior software engineer backend. So I'm just bringing it back to the slides. So essentially what happens is on the back end, a recruiter is looking for this role. So they create a Boolean string in LinkedIn Recruiter based off the job description. So they'll maybe do variations, senior backend engineer or senior backend engineer, or different variations of the way they would spell senior backend engineer. Or they may look for specific keywords, Java or Scala or C++, right? Aerospike or Redis. These are different things that they may be looking for on the back end. Now, this is what I'm going to show you. I actually have a video of what it looks like on the back end for these recruiters to search for talent like you. So give me 1 second while I play the video. And let me know if you can hear it. Hold on. Oh no, can you hear it? Oh no, there's no language right now. Oh, there is. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So essentially, as you can see here, they take that Boolean string. Were you guys able to see that, or should I rewind it? Let's start it from the beginning so you guys can really get what's happening here. Okay. So you can see here, the recruiters going into the job description. They're taking out some of the keywords that they may want to find, right? As Scala, C++, SQL. They then create this Boolean string on the back end. All right. And then this is what LinkedIn Recruiter looks like on the back end. They go in there, they put the Boolean string, and now they have 3,200 candidates. Now they may do variations of back-end engineers, right? Senior back-end engineer, maybe back-end developer.
Okay, do they have you on the seat itself? Okay, take a picture, let me know.
Okay.
That's fine.
And as you can see, that lowered it tremendously just by adding a few of those variations. And then we found a candidate, right? A candidate that stands out. Amy. Let's see, why do we like Amy? Let's look at Amy's profile. So senior backend engineer. She has her summary. She has all her professional experience, skills, right? She has a pretty complete profile. She looks like a great candidate who has a lot of relevant experience. So the recruiter likes her. She's gonna send her a quick note. Hey, Amy, I'd like to hire you. Awesome. So you got a little bit of a sneak peek as to what LinkedIn Recruiter actually looks like in the back end. This is what recruiters are doing to find you guys. Just gave you guys a little sneak peek. I saw someone raise their hand. Yes, what's your question, Zubair? I don't know how to, let's see, how do I let you ask a question? Can you unmute yourself? Or do I have to unmute you? Let's see. Or you can write it in the chat maybe. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Hi.
Hi, just a quick question on my end.
Sure.
I wanted to learn more about, I guess, like the seniority levels. Like, how do recruiters kind of determine what level they're looking for?
So in this case, the reason I showed this example was because the job description said senior backend engineer. So clearly she was looking for someone with senior backend engineer experience. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So yeah, that would really depend on, what exact role that you're applying for. So if it's, entry level, they may look for specifically entry level engineers. And then that's what they would put in the Boolean string. So I hope that kind of explains it. All right. So again, back to how the recruiter uses the LinkedIn recruiter. So the recruiter plugs in the Boolean to the LinkedIn recruiter, goes along the journey to find you, and then outreach, right? Rinse and repeat. They do this all day, recruiters, okay? So I'm sure many of you, actually, I'm curious, put it in the chat. How many of you have been approached or contacted by a recruiter on LinkedIn? Put a yes in the chat. I'm sure so many of you. Yep, many, right? Many, exactly. They're paying for it, so they're gonna use it. They're paying $10,000 a year, so they better use that tool. All right. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about keywords, because we saw there the power of the keywords in the Boolean string, right? So when it comes to keywords, I actually want to tell you guys about a new, it's actually not that new, a website that could be your new best friend. It's called jobscan.co. And this website essentially allows you to upload your resume or your LinkedIn profile and rank it against specific job descriptions. As a result, you are a match rate percentage, right? So you can actually see where your profile matches with this type of job description. I highly, highly recommend that you try this website out for yourself once you've completed your LinkedIn profile, of course. So just so you know, the power of the keywords, right? Adding these keywords to your profile allows you to rank up higher in LinkedIn's SEO, search engine optimization, right? So you can appear in relevant searches the way that we looked for that candidate before. I also don't know if you know this, but the more that you use LinkedIn as well, whether that's liking or commenting or sharing articles or writing your own articles or giving people recommendations, anything like that, that actually increases your ranking as well in LinkedIn SEO. They encourage that you utilize the platform more and you'll rank higher, as well as your profile will be viewed more, and any content that you also publish will have higher ranking as well and be viewed by more people. Do I know if this website's free? As far as I know, it is free. Here, I'll put the job scan. Check it out. All right. Now I wanted to just share a few profile examples here that I found that were really good profiles, right? So I'm curious, on the left-hand side, Daniel Savage, head of programs at Sequoia Capital. What is it about his profile that you think makes it a good profile? What do you guys think? You can write it in the chat. Yep, he has a really clear professional picture. He's supposed to look friendly, but to me, he looks a little creepy, but that's okay. Number of publications. Yeah, he has publications and accomplishments. What else stands out about his profile? I actually like that he has a banner image. I'm a very visual person, so I like that. His experience is pretty, it's very articulated very well, right? He wrote it in a very precise way. He's the head of Sequoia, yeah, that helps. Yeah, and then as you can see, he also has articles and activities, right? So he has published content on LinkedIn, which looks like he got a lot of reactions. So clearly he's a LinkedIn like pro. Yeah, pretty popular posts, exactly. But he still had to build that, right? That didn't just happen overnight. I'm sure he was building, sharing content, liking content, resharing, for years before he got to this point. What about the one on the right, Allison Zia? Can you guys see it well? I know it's kind of hard to read. What do we think about her profile? What's good about her profile? What stands out? Gregory said too much text, and I actually am going to rebuke you on that. She has a great about me summary section. We're going to get you to write today as well. Not as much as Allison. You don't have to write as much as Allison, but we want more writing on your profile. She has a nice photo. What about her headline? Do we like that headline? Right? Empowering innovative solutions through customer-focused strategy. We know what she's about, right? We know her mission, what she wants to be doing. She's probably on the job search, right? And it looks like she also has a lot of connections and a nice banner as well. Yeah, Shreya said she is highlighting her positive strengths. Exactly. That's actually what I like about her profile the most. You see where at the bottom it says my specialties, management strategy, customer partner and client relations, sales management, organizational design. It's very clear where her skill sets are. And that's something I highly recommend that you all do for yourselves. Maybe have like a tech stack includes Python, Ruby on Rails, C++, Java, whatever it is, right? Just really having it straight formatted there so everybody can see clearly what your tech skills are. All right, I'm going to just zoom in a little bit again to your headline, your photo and banner image. So your headline is the first thing people will, well, besides your name, right, and your photo, it's the first thing people see on your profile. Right? You want your headline to stand out and get people to learn more about you. And yes, there is a section for skills, but remember, we want to be found in those keywords. And SEO is not going to look for just the skills in the skills section. If you can have it in multiple places on your profile, even better. You'll rank even higher on SEO. First, second sort of thing after our name. First, second, or third sort of thing. Oh, that means your connection. So for example, Justin is a first connection to me, it means we're connected. If it's a second, that means that somebody I know is connected to him. And third means probably not connected at all. I hope that explains that. Okay. So for your photo, you want to make sure you're choosing a clear, friendly, and professional looking image, right? Justin looks really intense. He's giving you those intense eyes, but you would probably want a photo maybe where you're smiling, you look a little friendlier, kind of like the previous photos we saw with Allison and Daniel. Your headline, again, it doesn't just have to be your job title or your company. Use that space to really showcase your specialty, your value proposition, your so what. So Justin, for example, he's sharing the secrets to college. He probably has a podcast or something. Oh, it says right there, speaker, entrepreneur, podcaster on his headline, right? It says, on his banner image. So he says speaker, podcast host. Those are the keywords that he wants to be found for, I'm sure. All right. So I want everybody in this room right now to log on to your LinkedIn. And if you do not have a LinkedIn, you need to make a LinkedIn. Because your first activity of the evening is going to be to update your profile photo, your banner image, and your headline. So try this really simple formula I have here. Maybe how you help people plus your job title. Or you could say maybe how you help people, job title, and then some of your tech stack that you'd want to be found for. Maybe you're really looking for a job that uses React, right? And that's something that you have experience with. Or maybe you really want to work as a UX front-end engineer. So you'd have that on your headline. Just remember, this is the first thing people are going to see about you on your profile besides your name and your photo is your headline. So you really want it to stand out. So BH says, so I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes starting now. So BH asked me, how can I identify how I help people? Oh, okay. So for a banner image, so I'll get back to your question, BH. For a banner image, you can either find an image of maybe, I don't know if you have like a GitHub project that you've worked on and maybe you want to screenshot it. Another thing I've seen is people can create. So for example, this Justin guy, he definitely created that on Canva. I don't know if you guys have ever used Canva. Canva.com. It's a really great website. It's free. You can create any type of banner that you want there. But I would say something having to do with either something you're passionate about or your tech stack, maybe like code as a cool background. I hope that's helpful. And BH student, as a student, how can I identify how do you want to help people, BH? How would you like to help people? What kind of products do you want to help build? What kind of impact do you want to make? Even though you're a student and maybe you haven't had a professional job in coding or software development, does not mean that you're not experienced. I'm sure in school you've worked on many projects, you've had to build applications. So think about that. Think about what kind of impact you want to make. Do you want to help make, customer focused products? Or do you want to help more with, back-end systems and back-end systems and design? I don't know, right? It's like, how do you want to be known for? What kind of work do you want? What kind of job would you want in the future? Oh, I love that, Joanne. Great suggestion, right? Ask people, if you have no idea how you help people, ask your friends, ask anybody who's close to you. Be like, hey, what do I help with? What are some of my strengths? I've actually done that activity and found it very, very, it was actually very eye-opening for me. A lot of people had all these ideas about me that I didn't even know. What if we don't have friends? Family. You can ask your family. All right, you have about 2 more minutes. Continue working, get your profile photo, get your nice banner, and really think about your headline. And you can use, I forgot what they're called, the vertical lines, the way that Justin did here, right? If you want to have multiple sections of your headline. I believe this slide also had it. Where was it? Where the good profile? This one. Oh no, she doesn't have it. I actually have this on my profile, where I have multiple headlines. Pipes. Thank you. It's like, the vertical thingy. Thanks, Marta. Yeah. Oh, BH helped me too. Thank you. Oh, I like that. Improving business operations by managing incidents. And I would put maybe a pipe there, IT operations, pipe, technology, pipe, and maybe what are some stacks? What are some tech stacks you want to be found for? I like that. How does this look? Katak, software engineer. So I highly discourage people from writing on their headline, you're using precious space for seeking full-time roles. Remove that. Also, if you go on the back end of LinkedIn, you can put that you are open to opportunities, right? And that you're looking for a job. And so recruiters can see that on the back end. So you don't have to use your space on your headline for looking for full-time role or looking for entry-level role. You don't have to waste space on your headline for that. Oh, thanks, Richie. Kapil, improving business operations, managing incidents, IT operations using technology. That's too vague. Can you put maybe improving business operations, then managing incidents and IT, and then technology, and then maybe technology, using technology, and then putting some of the tech stacks that you use. Is it C++? Is it Python? Is it Ruby Rails? Like, what do you use? Maybe like 2 that you want to highlight. Yeah, that's way better. I like that one. Yep. I like that. Full stack software engineer, Aniket. I would say do not do the actively seeking. Get rid of all of that. It also just makes you look really desperate. I'm not going to lie. I've actually heard that from recruiters. Okay, so it looks like a lot of you are doing the headline. I'm happy. Sorry, sorry, but I had to tell you because I've had recruiters tell me like that, or even the photo where it says open to work with the green, they tell me that like that also looks really desperate. So use a regular photo, put your strengths and what you want to be found for as your headline. And make sure on the back end that you have your settings set up to open to opportunities. And that's what recruiters can see on the back end. Now, what you can do is if you want to say actively seeking full-time position, you can do that in your about section. So we're going to go to the about section next. Okay, we good? I'm moving on. Okay. All right, so about summary. Your about summary should be dynamic and engaging. Use first person, right? Remember to keep it conversational and include somewhat of a human element because people want to connect with real people, right? They don't want to read a college essay that looks like it was a research paper, right? You want to make sure that you can connect with people and that people feel like you're being genuine and authentic in your about section, your summary. So for example, you want to also be strategic. So you want to make sure that you use that space to use some of those keywords you want to be found for. For example, if you are a front-end engineer, showcase that you have skill sets in JavaScript and React, right? And web design or web development. If you look here, this was a really good summary, right? What stands out about this summary to you that James wrote? Zubair, I don't believe it automatically makes it a green. You have to add that to your photo. You have to add that feature to your photo. So what stands out about James, who's a senior software engineer at Sling TV? What stands out about his about me section? What do you guys think? It says he's loving writing code. Exactly. He tells his story about how he got interested in coding. Yep. His passion about programming and problem solving. Many tech stacks mentioned. That's what stood out to me at the bottom. You see, he says his skills and his interests, right? He has it very clear. These are my skills, right? He has a lot of skills. You think this page summary is too long? Well, I'm telling you that I don't think it's too long. I actually think it's great. We got a great story. We know a lot about James now from this. And to be honest, I think it's going to make him stand apart from other profiles. You don't have to do it this long, right? You can do it a little shorter, but the minimum is at least 2 paragraphs. Okay, so let's move on. Here are some tips about your about summary, and I see someone has a question. So let me do the tips first, and then I'll answer your question. First and foremost, use first person I statements, right? That's what James did in his profile. Again, that makes you just seem more genuine, authentic, and personable. Number 2, start with a hook, right? LinkedIn only shows you the first 3 lines. So try if you can to start with a hook because somebody's going to have to click show me more, right? To read the rest of your profile. Next, share your value, right? What have you accomplished in alignment with the work that you want to do, right? Why do you love coding? What is it about software engineering that sparks you? Include relevant keywords. This will help with profile SEO, as I mentioned before, right? And this is why this is such a crucial area of your profile, because this is where you can really input the keywords that you want to be found for multiple times. Include a call to action. So I saw James didn't have this, but this is something I recommend, especially for those who are on the job search. So maybe you can include your email address at the bottom, like, hey, please, if you're hiring and are interested in, meeting me, please email me. Or if you have a Calendly link, right? Set up a time to connect. That's what I have on my profile. But make sure you have some type of CTA, some call to action there, so that if a recruiter did want to reach out, maybe they want to, email you instead of LinkedIn message you, they can. right? And lastly, keep it conversational. Include a human element to the about section. Shreya, examples of a hook. Let me see. I mean, James has a hook right here, right? First and foremost, I love writing code. Ever since, again, it's the first 3 lines, right? Ever since my first writing program in Python and manipulating it to produce a desired output, I've been obsessed with the idea of using software to solve real practical problems. Okay. Something like that, just something that's going to capture my attention. Like, oh, I want to learn more about Shreya. All right. Somebody said, can we Google Calendar and share recommend? I don't have Calendly. I mean, you don't have to put like a book me link. You can just put your email address if you don't have a Calendly link. I don't know how that works with Google Calendar. Maybe somebody else can answer that question. All right. Next activity, 10 minutes. I don't think we're going to get through all of the activities today. Or maybe I'll give you guys like, and you don't have to finish. Why don't I do that? Let's do 5 minutes. And I want you to start writing your about section. Again, I know that it looked long and it looks like it's a lot to read, but we learned a lot about James from that about section, and it really makes him stand apart because you can tell he's very passionate about what he does. So you should have an about section that's at least 2 paragraphs, 2 to 3, ideally long. Wow, Aniket is already ahead of the game. Let's see. I'm a full stack software engineer. Oh, I'm going to read yours, Aniket. I won't read it out loud. So everybody, you have 5 minutes at least to get started. You don't have to finish today, but at least get started on your about section. And 5 minutes starting now. I'm reading yours, Aniket. Let me see. Master's of Science, Computer Science. So I would have loved, Aniket, if you maybe start with, you know, I know you're a full stack engineer, but maybe something like, you know, what is it about engineering that really makes you smile? Like, what makes you happy about engineering? Like, you could say, or what gives you a passion with engineering? Do you like working on teams? Is it because you like solving specific kinds of problems? You could say something like, you know, my name's, you know, I'm Aniket, and I have a passion for solving these types of problems using technology. I'm a full stack engineer with a lot of projects in Python, Django, JavaScript, SQL, analysis, all the different stuff. And then you can go ahead and write the rest of the paragraph. This looks pretty good. I would just say maybe that first couple of sentences, try to hook somebody. How can you hook someone? Right? Maybe talk about what motivates you. Will this be recorded? Richie, is this going to be recorded? There you go. Yes, he is. He said, yes, all attendees will get a recording. Okay. Core skills. 3 years of experience in software development. Looks good, Katak. I would say instead of I have 3 years of experience, I would say, you know, I've been working in the software development field for the past 3 years, and my core skills lie, you could say, and I have a, you know, I am motivated by, or maybe I really enjoy, and then talk about what is it about coding that you enjoy, right? You've been doing it for 3 years. What do you like about it? What sparks you? What inspires you, right? That's what we learned from James' profile. Right, I'll go back so you guys can see it again. But right, he talked a lot about his passion, and then he actually gave some examples of his work experience, and how he just continued to write code everywhere he went. It doesn't matter if he was working or not. Let's see, I'm going to read some more of these. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good, Katak. If I have a website that has 2 paragraphs summary about you, oh, so you have a website that has 2 paragraphs summary about you? You can copy and paste it. Just try to maybe tweak it a little bit and maybe list out your skills, right? Your tech stack. Maybe list it out so it's very easy to see. I like that format a lot, where you have the bullet points. you know, or maybe like a list, like 1, 2, 3, these are the tech stacks that I'm familiar with, or the way James has it here at the bottom. Very clear. Shreya, that looks good. I like that, Shreya, that looks good. Let's see, I'm looking at some more of them. What is preferred when it comes to provide email addresses in the about section? Should it be personal email? I would say personal. That's okay to have your personal email. Plus, you never know if you're like job searching, you don't want someone to reach out to your business email, right? And then your job might find out that you're job searching. So I would say personal email. Kapil. Yeah, that's really good. I like it. Just make sure to separate the paragraphs. You know, I would have like a team-oriented professional as a separate paragraph. It looks really good. Can I put my school's email instead of personal? Again, you totally can. I would still put my personal. You can use whatever email you want, but I would recommend personal because who knows, school email may get, when you graduate, you may not have access to it anymore, right? So I don't know. I would use, in my opinion, I would use my personal email. Okay. All right, how long has it been? I didn't keep track of time. I think it's been like 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to move forward just for the sake of time. Make sure we have enough time during today's session. So I'll give you maybe another minute or so to work on your about section, and it's okay if you didn't complete it today. I know it's a lot to write, so you can finish it later. But at least now you have a understanding of how it should look, right? And the kind of information you should provide and how to use keywords in your about section. Let's see, Ashmini says, for the better half of my academic career, I was extremely intimidated by coding and engineering ability did not fit the mold. The industry sought after. Fast forward to present day. My entire schedule revolves around writing code. I love it. I like that. Okay. Should I move on, or do you guys need more time? You can write in the chat. I can move on. Oh, hi, Ashmini, you're in BC. Go Eagles. That's awesome. I actually spoke at BC last semester at one of the entrepreneurship classes. All right, I'm going to move on to the next section so we have some time. All right, experience. Now, experience is obviously important, right? And also another great opportunity for you to use keywords in your experience section and how you describe your experience section, okay? So first and foremost, you want to make sure that your title, that you pick something that's recognizable, right? Maybe that wasn't the exact title you had when you were there. That's okay. Use something that's more recognizable. People know what it is, right? If it's something that's super specific that no one's ever heard of, number one, no one's probably going to search for it unless you want to do that same exact role again. And number two, people may not know what that means, right? So try to make it a little bit more generic so people understand what it is. You can also do dates. Year with no month is okay on LinkedIn. You don't have to have the month. Years, if you work somewhere from 2017 to 2020, totally fine. You don't have to put months. Description, again, use keywords, right? If there's specific tech stacks that you used while you were in that role and you want to be found for that, use it. Use those keywords. Use action words, right? You don't want to use passive words. You want to use action words. For example, you know, managed a team of 6 front-end engineers, right? Instead of in charge of a team, you want to say manage, directly manage the team, right? You want to use action words. Who did you work with, right? These are some questions you can answer when you're updating your experience, right? Who did you work with? What was the team you were responsible for? What were you responsible for? Any accomplishments to mention, right? Anything that maybe you'd want to mention and be and kind of, I don't want to say gloat, but a little bit, right? A little bit of like, this is why I'm awesome, right? In your experience section. Okay, so showcase your strengths and abilities, as it says right there. And if you have anything that, projects that you maybe want to showcase, you can actually attach them as well to your experience section. Like this woman has on the right? She actually has articles, and she has, it looks like she's made a bunch of, it looks like, I don't even know. It looks like she's made a lot of infographics, right? So a lot of information that she's including there. Proof. That's all just considered proof of the work that you've done. It says somebody wrote, my resume and LinkedIn info for experience and project is exactly the same. Is it okay? It depends. Remember, this is different from your resume, right? Your LinkedIn profile is a living, breathing document. You want to be found for specific keywords that recruiters would be looking for. So you want to make sure that you include those in your experience section. Now, if you have those in your resume and your experience section, great. You can add more detail in your experience section on LinkedIn because you have more space to write, right? Your resume is very compact. You can't really talk about all the things that you did in that role. You can only highlight the top 2 things maybe. You want to make sure that you can talk more about what your role was and your team here in the experience section on LinkedIn. So please use that opportunity, right? Use the opportunity to talk about what was your role there? Who did you work with? What was some maybe accomplishments that you had? Maybe you increased sales revenue by 25%, and you want to make sure you have that in your experience section. I don't know what the word limit would be. You obviously don't want it to be like paragraphs, right? But you can write a little bit more than you could in a resume. Jonathan says, say I'm straight out of a boot camp. What's your question about that? Do you want to know how to write your boot camp in there? Have you been doing any like side projects or anything since your boot camp? What have you been doing to kind of practice? Do you have a GitHub account? You can add your GitHub projects to your LinkedIn page. Definitely. You want to at least have, if you can, 3 entries in your professional experience. And even if it was an internship, that's still experience, right? Boot camp, that's still experience. Any projects that you did while you were in your boot camp, that is experience. It was not paid experience, but it's still experience. That's one thing I need all engineers to understand, because I've worked with hundreds already who all say the same thing. Oh, I'm just graduating. I don't have any experience. I'm like, did you build projects? Did you work on projects in the past? Did you build platforms? Did you build apps? Yes, right? That's experience. You can also add things in your volunteer section, right? Volunteer work maybe that you did, or, yep, so somebody said community engagement. Of course, you can get experience and show volunteerism. Exactly. Everything counts as experience, paid or unpaid. All right. Now, your next, why did this move? Your next activity, again, we don't have the full 10 minutes. I didn't realize it was going to take this long, but let's do it maybe for like 4 or 5 minutes. So I want to get you guys out of here on time, but I want you to update your experience section. Maybe update one of them, right? For now, just update one of them. Again, here are your tips, right? Pick something recognizable, do the years, be strategic, right? With the keywords that you want to use. Who did you work with, right? What was your team responsible for? Add as much detail as you can so people can really get a good sense of what you did there. So if you're in a boot camp, write your boot camp down in there. But what did you do in your boot camp? What kind of projects did you work on? What tech stack did you learn? What teams did you build with? You can write all of that in your boot camp experience. Don't write that off because it wasn't a paid job. Still experience. And no matter where you go, I don't care if you're a founder, if you're a CTO and you have your own company, you're always going to have to work on teams and with people, right? So every experience counts. Somebody said, can I host my side projects on Savannah instead of, go ahead, host your projects wherever you want, but you can attach those projects into your LinkedIn profile. Under, I think it's under articles and activity or something. There's a section there, featured, that's what it says, featured section under your about summary. You can put links in there to show some of your work. Yeah, totally. You can totally copy and paste stuff. Just add more detail in the LinkedIn one because you have space to do so. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to work on this because I just want to make sure we have enough time to go through all the slides. Is experience section in all jobs required? I don't understand your question. You're asking if every job that you've had should be in the experience section? There's no word limit. I can't give you a word limit, but you have 5 jobs. You have 5 jobs right now at one time? That's a lot of jobs. Okay. You don't have to put every single job that you've had if you feel like it's not relevant. But to be honest, I would recommend putting, I mean, if you were only at a job for a month, maybe I wouldn't put that. But if you were working somewhere for at least a year, I would definitely put that experience in there, even if it's maybe not super relevant to the role that you're looking for now. Once again, any job experience is relevant, right? All your skill sets, your soft skills, things that you've learned, right? How to be collaborative, how to finish projects on time, project management skills, working on a team, being able to lead a team, right? Meeting your deadlines, all of those things are transferable skills and all count for experience. I would put all your jobs, Kapil. I don't know what you're asking me. I would put all your 5 jobs there. Maybe they don't all fit on your resume, but they can all fit on LinkedIn, right? And that's why LinkedIn's better, in my opinion, than a resume, right? Because you can get a holistic view of someone instead of just one piece of paper where you are only limited to one page, right? We're so much more than just one page. And LinkedIn is your opportunity to be that. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on. I'll give you maybe one more minute because I want to make sure we get through all the slides. Okay, I'm going to move on just because we have 7 minutes. I want to make sure we have time. So you guys can always finish this later, right? Skills and endorsements. Again, this is also important because another place for you to be found for keywords, the keywords you want to be found for. And if you get endorsed, like say, for example, you really want to be found for Python. You put Python as your skill and you get endorsed by 50 people, right? That's going to show up as your top skill and you'll be searched higher in rankings in LinkedIn for that skill set. So this is, again, be strategic. Same thing. If you were a front-end engineer, showcase the skills that you want to be found for, right? JavaScript, React, web design, web development. I believe you can have up to, and I could be wrong, I think you can have up to 50 skills in there in your LinkedIn profile. And as you can see there on the right-hand side, this particular engineer had product management, entrepreneurship, software development, right? And those were his top 3 skills that he's going to be found for. And that's what he wants to be found for. So think about for yourself, for your skills. What do you want to showcase as your skill sets? What do you want to be found for and known for? Actually, that's actually the activity, right? Update your skills section. Add some skills. I would say have at least 10 to 20 skills in there, at least. And then you can even ask your friends, right, to endorse you. or ask, random people, hey, they endorse other people for their skills and they may endorse you back, right? It's a give take. You get what you give. I'm going to do another minute or so for you guys to update some of your skills. Somebody said, how do you turn off the open to work banner on the profile? But say you're open to work. Oh, you don't need to have the banner on your profile, but in your settings, on the back end in your account settings, you can set up that you're open to work or open to opportunities. And how many skills did you say one should put? So I believe the limit is 50, but I would say have at least 10 to 20 in there. How do you turn off the banner on your profile photo? You should be able to just go to your profile photo and just switch out the photo, put another photo in. You don't need to keep that one. Just can you, if you're not able to swap it out, that's weird. It adds that automatically. Huh. Is anyone else having that issue? That's weird. There should be a setting that you can turn that off. So I apologize. I don't actually know how to turn that off. Oh, well, there you go. Thanks, Richie. Okay. So last but not least, there's a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we have time for some questions. So last but not least, this is your LinkedIn checklist. So I would even, screenshot this page. Screenshot it, right? Checklist it off for yourself. Do I have a high quality profile picture? Does my headline reflect what I do, right? In other words, if a recruiter had to introduce me to a hiring manager, could they say my headline and effectively describe who I am, what I do? Does my about section describe my profession, right? If a recruiter copy and pasted my about section and emailed it to a hiring manager, would they understand my value and what motivates me, right? Do I describe my professional experiences? Do I have at least 5 relevant skills? I'm going to say, actually, I should have updated that. I should say at least 10 to 20. And then bonus, right? You don't want to have a great LinkedIn profile and have no connections. So make sure that you're reaching out to connecting with people that you'd like to be connected with, people that you know, people that you don't know. That's totally okay. So many engineers ask me, well, what? I don't know them. Is it okay if I accept their request? And I say, of course. How are you supposed to grow your network with just people you know, right? You have to accept and reach out to people you don't know. And that's a whole other session, right? Because that's all about outreach and how to effectively build your network on LinkedIn. That's something completely separate, but at least now you will have an awesome LinkedIn profile so that when you do friend request someone or LinkedIn request someone, they'll be like, wow, this person has a really good profile. I actually know what they're about. Let me accept their request, rather than having a really sketchy profile, no photo, no nothing. And you're like, is this a real person? Right? I'm not going to accept their request. Exactly. Yes, Adam, they want something, they want to connect, and vice versa. You're also getting something out of the deal. You never know. That random person that reached out that you didn't know may post a job that you really want, or may be able to connect you with someone else that you really want to be connected with. You never know. And that's the beauty about networking. That's the beauty of LinkedIn. You're not supposed to just have people you know on your LinkedIn profile. All right, we have 2 minutes left. Any final questions before today's session? Was this helpful? Oh, I see a question. Good, I'm glad this was helpful. Let me see. Oops, how do I get somebody? Somebody raise their hand. Yes, Xiao Fan. Did I say it right?
Sorry about that. I was gonna say chat and talk about how helpful this is, but I accidentally clicked the raise hand.
Oh, well, I'd rather hear you say it out loud anyway. I'm glad this was. I'm glad this was
Definitely
helpful.
helpful, especially the part about saying that like LinkedIn isn't your resume, I guess, because like that's kind of what I did at first. Like everything I write now is just like basically a copy paste of my resume, but now I'm like
Yeah.
fixing it and making sure to like elaborate and put more
Yay.
details. So thank you
That's
so much.
awesome. Thank you for giving me that comment. That's awesome. Again, yeah, this is your opportunity to tell more of who you are, right? Tell your story. And this is where recruiters are spending their time. Yes, resumes are important. Of course, you want to get through the applicant tracking system. Yes. But at the end of the day, when you do get an interview and somebody does have you come into the office to meet them, they're going to ask you, what's the first question they're going to ask you? So tell me about yourself. And they probably haven't even looked at your resume. Right? So your LinkedIn profile is literally your opportunity to tell me about yourself to literally anyone out there looking for you. Right? So thank you so much. I hope you keep working on your profile. I know we didn't have enough time to finish today, but
No, it's
okay. Awesome. Let's see. Any other questions before we head off? All right. Yeah, Humberto said, thanks for letting us know what recruiters actually see on there. Yeah. They told me, they were just like, yeah, it makes you just look real desperate. And I'm like, yeah, I should tell people that. You guys should tell people that. All right. So we are all set for this tonight. I hope that this was helpful again. And, continue working on your profile. You can always continue editing it. You don't have to just edit it today and it's done forever. You can always go back and update things, add more articles, add, more content. It's a living, breathing profile. So I hope this was helpful. Please add me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. And you can even check out my profile. So have a very good night. Richie, we can say good night to everybody.